Today, we're diving into the book CEO Excellence from McKinsey's senior partners. It was written to answer one fundamental question that pretty much every leader asks themselves. What really separates a good leader from a truly great one? It's not just about hitting quarterly targets, right? It's about a specific way of thinking, a set of mindsets that elevates a select few to, well, legendary status.
So to get to the heart of it, McKinsey went straight to the source. They interviewed 65 of the most successful CEOs of our time. We're talking leaders from massive companies like Netflix, JP Morgan Chase, and General Motors. So this isn't just theory. This is wisdom pulled directly from the front lines.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the core challenge of just being a CEO. Then we'll break down the key mindsets, being bold, mastering what they call the soft stuff, engaging the whole ecosystem, and we're going to wrap it all up with this really powerful metaphor, the CEO decathlon.
Okay, first up, let's just frame the problem here. The role of a CEO is one of the most demanding, most complex jobs on the entire planet. It's a constant battle against unbelievable pressure and uncertainty.
And what the research found is that the real difference maker isn't some checklist of actions. It's a fundamental shift in perspective. You see, the secret isn't in what these CEOs do, but in how they think.
And that leads us right into the first major mindset: be bold. Look, in a world that's filled with uncertainty, most leaders try to minimize risk. But the best ones? They actually embrace it. They use it to their advantage when they're setting the company's direction.
Now, this idea of boldness breaks down into three really practical pillars. First up is vision. Great CEOs don't just try to win the game, they reframe the entire game. Think about Reed Hastings at Netflix. He focused on subscriber experience, not just market share. Second, strategy. They make big, decisive moves because they know that waiting around just leads to stagnation. And finally, resource allocation. They act like an objective outsider, totally unafraid to cut projects that aren't working so they can reinvest in what will.
This quote from Goethe just nails it. It really captures the essence of this whole mindset. It's not about being reckless. It's about that focused, almost magical power that comes from making decisive, courageous moves. But of course, a bold vision is totally useless if you don't have the right people to make it happen. And that brings us to the second mindset, understanding that the so-called soft stuff, culture, talent, organization, that's actually the hardest and most important part to get right. Just let this number sink in for a second. 72%. A staggering 72% of the barriers to actually executing a strategy are tied directly to people and culture. That means almost 3/4 of all the roadblocks you'll face have nothing to do with your brilliant plan. And this is where you really see the difference in approach. While so many leaders pour all their energy into financial plans, the truly excellent ones apply that same analytical rigor to their people plans. And get this, the research shows doing this doubles your chances of success, jumping from a 30% success rate to nearly 80%. That's huge.
It's like the legendary Peter Drucker famously said, "Culture eats strategy for breakfast." And the best CEOs, they get that this isn't just some catchy phrase. It's a fundamental law of business.
Okay, so you've got a bold direction in the right culture. Now, where does a CEO focus their energy? Outward. The next critical area is all about managing the entire ecosystem of relationships. Now, the book breaks this into three mindsets, but they all really center on one core idea: engaging the key groups beyond your direct reports.
So this ecosystem really boils down to three critical groups. You have to mobilize your leadership team, you need to engage your board of directors, and you have to connect with all of your external stakeholders, from investors all the way to the community.
And how you do this is absolutely crucial. For your leadership team, it's about solving for the team's psychology to build real trust. For your board, it's about using radical transparency to turn them into genuine partners, not just overseers. And for everyone else, all the other stakeholders, it's about starting with a really clear why to create a powerful sense of shared purpose.
All right, this brings us to our final section, which ties all of these ideas together with a fantastic metaphor that really makes the whole nature of the CEO role click. But before we can fully unpack that decathlon metaphor, we need the last piece of the puzzle, the sixth mindset, which is all about personal effectiveness. This is about ruthlessly managing your own time and energy to do only what you, as the CEO, can uniquely do.
So here it is, the CEO as a decathlete. Think about it. A decathlete doesn't win by being the world's best sprinter or the best javelin thrower.
They win by being exceptionally good across 10 different events. Well, the exact same thing is true for a CEO. Excellence isn't about mastering one single skill, it's about achieving a really high proficiency across the entire role.
And this is how it all comes together. The 6 mindsets that we've just covered are the events in the CEO decathlon. From setting that bold direction to managing your own effectiveness, a top CEO has to perform well in every single one of these to win.
So, as we wrap up, I'll leave you with this question, and it doesn't matter what your job title is. Looking at these 6 events in the Leadership Decathlon, which one is your single biggest opportunity for growth right now?